Previously on the Loughborough Apprentice, the three teams ran a market stall for the day. With a £200 budget, what they sold was their choice. However, the teams found the task more challenging than they first thought. With one team making a loss, how will the judges react? For the final teams, it's time for the ultimate grilling. Now in the boardroom, the Inquisition continues to find the winner for 2015. The decision lies in the hands of Faizan Qureshi, Creative Director of Humble Hipster, Tracy Bamra, Pro Vice Chancellor of Enterprise, and James Bowker, VP Finance at Loughborough Students' Union.
Before we tell you how much profit you've made, we want to find out a bit about your business ideas. So we're going to ask each team in turn tell us how they've decided what their business idea would be. And we'll start with Team Logic.
So the idea that we went with in the end for our market stall was different from the original one in our application, because we realised that our original idea was a bit too complex and wasn't really going to work out. So Kayan and Shivani suggested a different idea, which was to do with doing hand-decorated henna candles and henna tattoos.
Team Alpha.
I noticed a gap in the market because I looked around in supermarkets and they had some stuff, but it's still relatively new. They just sell American candy, and I saw the prices online, and much better prices online than you could buy in supermarkets, and much better ranges of products as well.
Team Kiroya Gavigan.
Yeah, we looked at the date on the 28th of November and thought that it was far enough before Christmas that people wouldn't have already got all their Christmas decorations and gifts, but that it was close enough that they'd be starting to think about it. So we thought that Christmas would be a good market to go for, and therefore developed our products on that.
So now we will reveal your profit or loss.
Okay, so first of all, Team Kiora Gavigan, you spent £197.10. You made £141, meaning you have a loss of £56.10.
Team Alpha, you spent £199.50. You made £203.03. Therefore, you made a profit of £3.53.
Team Logic, you spent a total of £104.14, and you sold £147.12 worth of goods, so you made a profit of £42.98.
So as a result of this, Team Logic, you're through to the final, and you can go through and relax for a few minutes at least.
Thank you.
Begin. So the other two teams, you've got to answer a few more questions first. How much profit you expected to make? Were these results a surprise? So both teams
Projected to make at least £100 profit had we sold all our stock at the price we wanted. However, our main problem was we overestimated how much stock we bought. So if we had more days, we believe we would have made it, because they were selling at that price, but they weren't selling quick enough. So throughout the day, what we'd do, we'd go around shops and then reducing the price massively to at least break even, because we knew we only had that one day to sell it.
So when you were doing that, were you aware of how much you were reducing your profit by? Did you have a minimum price?
We had a spreadsheet which each minimum price per suite.
How about you?
So ours was relatively similar. We had a projected profit, which I think if we'd sold all of our stock was fairly large.
Our total revenue for all our stock would have been around £740.
And so we worked out our break-evens on each of our products. But when it came to the day they were selling, people were liking them, but there just wasn't the volume of people willing to stop.
So how much stock have you actually got there?
Yeah.
Compared to how much you had in total, what percentage was that?
We've got about, I'd say, 40% of our candles still left, 50% of our reindeer food, and near 80% of our wood decorations.
How much stock have you got left?
We had probably about 40% of the stock left, but that's a bit less, maybe about but that's because we sold a lot of it for cheaper than we would have done.
In terms of sales strategies, like obviously you talk about passive trade, and I actually came down today to see how you guys were doing. Obviously it was a pretty horrible day to be down there. Did you ever think to go and sell to retailers?
We did do that. We went round to barber shops first. We had loads of lollipops and things. And we thought these people buy these things and just give them out to like customers, like particularly young customers.
Yep.
And in fact, we went to a cafe and the guy said, obviously I'm not going to be making any money on this, but we had these little sour things. They said they're great for giving out to kids. So we went through. We made quite a bit of money.
We made £15 on that, just
Okay.
for that one cafe.
As the task was a market stall, we obviously planned for personal sales to people and didn't think about retailers in our planning because obviously we were aiming to sell from the market stall. And then from our choice of products, then they weren't completely suitable to sell to retailers.
I'd like to know about planning, because both teams spent almost all the money and both teams ended up with quite a lot of stock left. Did you do any research into the market and how many customers there might be?
Well, I did a bit of research based on people I know on campus. I mean, I know particularly among young people, American produce is really popular in the UK. But the main problem we had was we anticipated that more students would come out to town.
Did you do any promotions?
We promoted mostly through social media because we believe that on campus people would be following Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. And also, I promoted within my department.
We also did throughout the day, like posting updates, like pictures of our store, tell people to come check it out.
How about you? Did you?
We did a few social media posts as well, but obviously we anticipated that the market would largely be Loughborough locals and not students, which is what we tailored our products more towards. So we did a bit of promotion there, but we're more focused on actually being present at the market, talking to people and trying to promote ourselves that way.
So why do you think you ended up with so much stock? Like what happened
Well,
in terms
one of the things
planning?
was that to get so for example, the candle holders, the cheapest and best ones we found, they only came in a pack of 72, and to go for something else would have been either much more expensive or not suited to what we wanted to use them for.
How many wooden shapes were you planning on selling?
We bought about 150, and so then I think our break even was somewhere.
I think our break-even was around 40 to 50 shapes.
So how many hours were you at the market?
From 8ish
Until 4 o'clock.
Okay, so what's that?
8.8.
7.5 hours.
7.5 hours and 150
It's 20 an hour.
20 an hour. Did you
Yeah.
think about that?
Well, we again we bought them in bulk, so we went for the low break-evens, and then hopefully obviously it was ambitious to go for 150. We knew maybe that wouldn't be reached, but we thought as long as we were able to hit our break-even and then do a fair few number over that, which we thought we would be able to, that would be okay.
I think ambitious is probably a big one. That's projecting you're going to sell one of those wooden things, or every 3 minutes you're going to sell one at a time. Obviously, in that weather, do you think next time you look at it and think, no, we probably don't do that amount in terms of profit made?
Outside of the competition, I do think that our idea is very successful, and have we been given more time and different locations maybe, and we'd actually done like trial runs as a permanent market stall, I think it would have worked.
So every time we would have sold after that, because we already broke even, would be 100% profit, because we already would have covered all of our costs.
Something I think in terms of, obviously, if students aren't your main market for locals, then both teams have gone down the social media route. Now, that's probably not the best way you're going to sell your products. In terms of when you're there on the day, it's all about personal selling, it's about being out and about. I know your team, you dressed up. Well, how did you entice customers to your store? What was your real attraction to people to come to your store?
We spent money on decorations. We made it look really vibrant. I'd been out in Loughborough the week before and I looked around and there was nothing that really stood out much. One thing I did learn though is that it seems like at a lot of those market stalls they have higher prices because they don't anticipate as many sales, but they make more on each thing that they sell. So if I did something differently, I'd say we get things that maybe cost a bit more to buy and that we can sell at a higher price, because having fewer sales but occasional sales that make us more money would have probably made us more money in the long run.
Well, in terms of your marketing strategy, what would you do differently next time if you had another chance?
I think we'd look at trying to pre-promote ourselves to Loughborough locals if there's a way of doing that. And then from there, hopefully just again be present with the people at the market, be talking to people, be attracting attention to our stall.
How do you think you worked as a team?
We worked very well because we got, well, plan was we got there quite early, so we got there I think 8, and then we all worked together to set up the stall because we had a lot of decorations. And then throughout the day we'd take it in turns, let's say someone needed a break because we'd been out of flowers, we'd rotate that. And we also went off in pairs. So for example, some of it me and Marco would go to retailers to try sell things, while we had 2 other stores there before we could reach more people.
The team, how about you?
I think we worked well, especially we kind of put towards our strengths, so I was kind of more ideas and then other people were finance, and so we kind of played to what we were good at. And then on the day, it was just me and Bishi who were there, Danny and Tom couldn't make it, but we were able to bring on another team member for that day then, who was a graphic student who was able to use our typography pen and to make our products really high quality.
Do you ask you to leave and then we'll basically come back and make a decision? Is that alright?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Different day.
I think that team didn't plan.
No.
The fact, you do the song as well. All agree.
I think
Two of them didn't turn up.
So, yeah.
That's not good.
Think about you two teams, and so Team Alpha, we thought you had a visually effective store, you had some good teamwork, you had a good range of selling strategies, but you were far too ambitious, and you really didn't know your market very well at all. Team Kiroya Gavigan, you had a very creative idea, you had very high quality products, a good store, but very poor planning, very over-ambitious, and poor team working on the day. Only 2 of you were there. So we've decided, Kiroya Gavigan, you're fired. You must leave the room.
When you look at Team Alpha, who made £203, yes, they spent more than you, but they made that amount of money. Why couldn't you make that amount of money from more produce?
I suppose if we'd stocked more candles, or perhaps decorated some of the more basic ones a bit more fancily, if you like, because there was a price difference of £2 between the basic candles and the complex ones. So if we'd focused more on doing complex candles, and if we had a bit more time beforehand to put into that, then we might have been able to make a bigger profit.
In terms of the idea of bringing in the sweets, where did that come from?
We felt that depending on the kind of people that were going to be at the market, because there were a lot of kind of elderly people coming to the market doing their shopping, and we thought that the hand-decorated candles and handcrafted stuff would appeal to them.
Neither seems that loud. Market is on a rainy day. You've got to make yourself hit heard almost, because people aren't necessarily driven by your stall. No matter how much you do with it, they're going to see brands around shops and stuff. They're not necessarily drawn to you. In terms of what you were selling, now quite random range of things. You had sweets on one end, and then you got henna made candles. Okay, why?
So well, we started off with Karen and Shivani had the idea of doing henna tattoos.
Yeah.
Which, if the weather had been better, we would have done more of on the day, but people didn't really want to take their gloves off to get henna tattoos done on a day like that. We did have one person stop and get a henna tattoo, but apart from that. So we started off with that, and then we thought, if the weather's bad, or if something else goes wrong, how can we diversify?
It didn't fit in with the rest of the stall,
So I kind of agree with you as well. Maybe we should have taken a different stance on a different type of product that would have given us a bigger margin, but with, like Sam just said, then the process we went through, we decided that in the end. So.
Final question very quickly for each team. Why should you win Loughborough University Apprentice?
Okay, well I think that it's because we had good cohesiveness as a team, good organisation and distribution of roles. We shared the responsibility between us, and we tried to cater for all the different aspects of especially this market stall. We put a lot of effort into our marketing, putting effort into making hand-decorated products, adding value to it for not much cost to us and giving us a significant amount of profit. And I guess also simply because we made the biggest profit on the day, and you can't really argue with that, can you?
I think the most important thing, the reason, is because of like the amount of effort we all put in. I think from start to finish we've all been on point.
And I do also think it's the strength of our ideas that put us ahead of other teams. Like, I know all the teams have done really well to get this far, but our ideas, we were looking beyond this competition.
Thank you. You want to step outside or inside?
Thank you.
Thank you. The problem I have with theirs is that it's not the most creative, but from a business point of view, at least they
It's
did.
the most lucrative.
The most lucrative, yeah. And had they not, I mean, it's interesting to see that obviously at the end they were selling things cheaply to try and get rid of it. Probably if they'd spent the same, half the money, they probably would have sold everything, and they would have made more profit, wouldn't they? Because they wouldn't have been selling
They've sold the most. They've sold £203 worth of stock, which is amazing.
Yeah. Of stuff which is quite low price, whereas theirs are kind of more expensive.
It's a niche. Theirs was a very niche
and
market.
I like his argument at the end is that theirs is a more sustainable business model.
It is. This is what we asked them last time. Can you run this forward beyond Loughborough?
So well done both teams for getting this far after so many weeks of working hard. We'll give you a bit of feedback for each team before we say who's fired and who's hired. So, Team Logic, you had some very good profit levels in your team, great teamwork, but we felt that your business was a bit incohesive. You were trying to sell two very different and unrelated elements. And we think your plan is rather unrealistic going forward in terms of sustaining that as a business. Team Alpha, you made some profit, not quite £1 each. You've got a very good business model though, and it's definitely sustainable beyond that one day on the market. Some good teamwork as well. But your planning could have been improved. As you now know, you were far too ambitious. So, Team Alpha, you're hired. Unfortunately, Team Logic, you've now got to leave the room. Thank you.
Team Alpha has been crowned the winners of the Loughborough Apprentice 2015, taking home £300 of prize money.
Feeling amazing, absolutely.
I actually wasn't expecting it. I'm so glad we did.
Either way. Yeah, we knew we had a strong idea to begin with, but the fact we got all the way through was really good. Quite tense.
We found the experience quite intense.
Quite nerve-wracking. Like I lost my words. I didn't know what to say.
I mean, honestly, we didn't know how it would go. I mean, we had confidence, but the other teams were really strong. So
competition was high.
A huge thank you to the Loughborough Markets, all our judges, and Santander universities who sponsored this competition. Have you got what it takes to win the Loughborough Apprentice 2016? Look out for more information from LSU Enterprise.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with your money?
Possibly, I'm looking to reinvest actually, potentially, into Art America.
As you now know, you were far too ambitious. And if you'd thought a bit more about your market and the day that you had to sell, then maybe you could have made more profit. So, we've made our decision, and Team Alpha, you're fired. No.
We want the reaction.
Okay, can we do that again? No.
We hired a fire.
Oh my god. Okay, can we take two? So I'll go back and tell you.
Sorry.